So the latest mock draft just came out for the Los Angeles Chargers, and overall, I find it to be pretty entertaining because we all have our own opinion on the picks. Of course, we can all understand the other person's picks. Like, for example, boltsfromtheblue.com has the Chargers taking Devontae Wyatt out of Georgia due to Jordan Davis being already taken. He mentions that in the simulation, Alabama's Jameson Williams was the only player that he was able to consider here outside of Wyatt, but he just wanted to go with him due to his ability to stop the run, which the Chargers lacked last season. If the Chargers could stop the run last season, they might have went to the AFC Championship and possibly the Super Bowl because they weren't able to play the defense that they wanted because teams were exposing them on the ground. And obviously on third down, the Chargers weren't good there either. So I can see going with Wyatt here. I think there's a pretty big gap, though, between Davis and Wyatt. I mean, that's just my opinion overall. Not that I know too much about Wyatt, but I really like the athleticism out of both of these players, and I feel like they would kind of fit right in next to Johnson and next to Joseph Day, who is an amazing nose tackle against the run. But overall, I'm going with Jameson Williams here. This is just my opinion. You guys know I've talked about Williams so much. I'm not going to get too much into it, but his ability to help Justin Herbert put up points in some of these shootouts could be the difference or not. I understand, you stop teams, then, yeah, you're chilling because the Chargers offensively are very good, so why not improve the defense? But overall, you don't just take a player at 17 because you need that position more than the other. You take the superstar player, and I think Jameson Williams is that type of player. I know he transferred out of Ohio State because of Garrett Wilson and obviously Chris Olave, who are both tremendous players. I mean, you could argue those are the two best receivers in this class, but I think Williams and what he brings just with his speed and route running ability, hands, would be great for the Chargers, who, by the way, had a lot of important drops last season. They don't have the most speed, if any, out there. And I'd like to see them get a guy on a rookie deal, have him locked up 4 or 5 years next to Herbert. That would be great. I don't think Keenan Allen will play here next season. I know a lot of Charger fans disagree with that, but I personally am not buying Keenan Allen being a part of this team's future. I don't think he's going to retire a Charger. I think he's one of the best players in football. But overall, I'm going to say it again, bro. Jamar Chase goes to the Bengals. They go to the Super Bowl. That's that. So in the second round, well, not in the second round because they traded for Khalil Mack and they don't have a second round pick, but in the third round at pick 79, you have Rasheed Walker out of Penn State. As it stands, the Chargers need a right tackle. They could also use a right guard as well, but anyone who saw Storm Norton get his tail whipped on repeat against the Raiders in Week 18 knows which one matters more. Yeah, I mean, obviously he gave up 2 sacks and 11 pressures in that game, and that's basically the biggest reason why they lost. I mean, if you can't protect Herbert, you're in trouble. Justin Herbert is great, and we've seen him play really well his rookie year with a battle line, but if you want him to be durable and have longevity for you, you've got to go out and protect him. I mean, in the first round, if they were to take an offensive lineman, I wouldn't hate it because in order for this team to move forward, that's the most important position right now. Obviously, they don't technically need a receiver, and they don't need a nose tackle. They just went out and got 2 good ones, and probably you're just getting started there. But if we're talking about like longevity, I mean, different story here because you can't win without Justin Herbert being protected. I mean, Andrew Luck didn't last. Joe Burrow, his rookie year, got hurt. Trevor Lawrence obviously had a bad season because he wasn't being protected and horrible coaching, very predictable offense and not a lot of weapons. But you guys get the gist, man. So going out here and drafting Rasheed Walker out of Penn State in the third round, to me, would be a great move. I'd love it. And yeah, I mean, he's 6'6", 315 pounds. I will gladly have him on the right side of the line. So in the fourth round, you have running back Brian Robinson Jr. out of Alabama. I was actually listening to a podcast on my way home today, and they were talking about Brian Robinson. I mean, he's just going to be an amazing player. He's not going to be a star. He's not going to be an all-pro running back, at least in my opinion. But he's going to come into the Chargers, and you're going to hand him the ball and get out of his way. He's a very big dude at 6'2", 225 pounds. Personally, the Chargers, they're going to be up a lot of games, hopefully at least, but I'd expect they're going to be up a lot of games, and they're going to just run the clock out. We'll get Austin Eckler out of there and give it to Brian Robinson Jr., who obviously can handle touches. Pretty athletic player, not the most athletic, but for his size, man, he runs hard, dude. Like, he rushed for 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns last season as a first-time starter. He also caught 35 passes for 296 yards, which earned him a selection to the first-team All-SEC honors. He even had 11 kickoffs, which speaks to his just complete versatility to his game. For a man that is, again, is 6'2", 225 pounds. He's a big boy running the ball. I think he's going to be a very good player for the Chargers, man. I'd love to have him. And I know that you're thinking of Josh Kelly and Roundtree. Is it Roundtree or Roundtree? Roundtree? I don't even know, but he sucks. I don't know what his name is, but I know for sure he was not a good pick and hasn't worked out. I just don't think Brian Robinson is going to be that type of player. I personally think if he's in the 4th round, remember Alabama running back, we know Najee Harris played there last season. Not that he's Najee Harris, but he has a lot of similar traits, man. I'd love to have him on the Chargers, and I'd be ecstatic with that pick. In the 5th round, we go to guard now. Remember, we went with tackle, and now we're going with guard. If I can say this correctly, Lekitis Smith out of Virginia Tech. Of course, the Chargers have yet to sign Ode Abushi. The plan at right guard still seems quite murky. Smith was the top left guard on the board. Not even, right guard. Is he a right? I think he's a right guard. I don't know. It doesn't specify. I think he's a right guard. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, I mean, you don't want to wait any longer to go here because, remember, the Chargers could use a guard. I don't think they need a guard, but they could definitely use one in the 5th round. You want to get someone that is 6'3", 313. He's athletic. He's built like a traditional guard. He does lack a bit of strength as his arms measure just 31 7/8 of an inch. But you have to remember that he does also struggle to find consistency as a run blocker. He's a surprisingly talented pass protector. And he will win with the right composure and flexibility that allow him to stay in front of his assignment. So it seems like he's a good player. I mean, the 5th round, you're taking a chance here. I don't really know what to expect too much out of it. But personally, I'd be fine with the pick going offensive line in the 3rd round and then going offensive line in the 5th round. It sounds right to me. In the 6th round, you have Bolts from the Blues going with Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor, who, again, he ran a 4.28. We're not going to take him here just because I took a receiver. I took Jameson Williamson in mine in the 1st round. And also, this receiver is 6'2". He's 181, so he's got to bulk up. I'm honestly, considering he got 62 passes for almost 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, he did earn 2nd team All Big 12. I don't think this would be an amazing pick if you do go with a defensive tackle in the 1st round, but I would not do that personally. And it doesn't specify who else was on the board here. But 6th round, I mean, you already took offensive line. You probably go linebacker here. I don't know who. I couldn't give you a name, but I would go some type of linebacker. But let's just say for the sake of this, we'll go with Tyquan Thornton. Go two receivers would be horrible. But again, you take the best player on the board. I mean, I don't care if you have good receivers. If the best player on the board is a receiver with that much upside due to his speed, you just take him, man. Like, you worry about anything else later. So, and remember, the Chargers have a lot of depth, so they can kind of get away with this type of stuff. Like, they can get away with taking a player that is going to start the season hurt. So, at least in my opinion. And then, yeah, so hold on a second. Okay, that was the 5th round. Oh, no, so the Chargers have 2 6th rounds. Okay, I got confused. Okay, so, yeah, so this is kind of exactly, look, they're taking a linebacker, so I'm not a moron. Okay, their next pick, they're taking Joshua Ross out of Michigan. He's 6 foot, 227 pounds. He is undersized, which, is he undersized? I mean, a 6 foot linebacker, yeah, that's undersized, but it's not like, I don't think it will be an issue. He ran a 4.79 and he had a 31-inch vert, so he's not an athletic freak by any means. I mean, 227 running a 4.79 is like not crazy or anything. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about this player, man. I'd have to watch his tape, but yeah, it looks like he's better than the testing suggests, honestly. Because, like, if I'm looking at a 6 foot linebacker, you've got to have him be athletic. And it just doesn't seem like the tape backs up Ross being an athlete. But overall, there's a difference between combine and actual game-changing speed, like game speed. Like, you look at a guy like Traylon Burks out of Arkansas, right? He's not the most athletic guy in the combine, but in-game, he's a monster. So, and in the 7th round, of course, the Chargers, they have 2 7th rounders, and they're taking a corner. So the first corner, finally, I think this might actually be a little bit. I personally would really like Marcus Jones, only 5'8", but he's super fast. Can play the slot for us. But 7th round, we're going with Matt Hankins, who is 6'1", 180. He's another slim player, which seems like a common occurrence in this, at least the last couple of picks. Even that offensive lineman. I mean, he was a part of Iowa who had a very good defense last season, and he played a role to make that happen as a 7th rounder. He started 10 games, and he did miss a couple of them because... Did he get hurt or... Yeah, he did. I don't know if he got hurt or not, but he definitely did get hurt because he's 180. He's going to get injured. He had 3 interceptions and had 8 deflections, which is pretty good in 10 games. Actually, very good in 10 games. He was not invited to the NFL Combine, and Iowa has yet to host their pro day, so we'll have to wait and see on his athletic testing numbers. I mean, he had 36 starts, guys, for a top-ranked defense, so you're basically just taking a shot here, and rightfully so. I'd love this pick. And then the final pick for the Chargers is going to be another corner. It's going to be Jalen Armour Davis out of Alabama. He would definitely not fall to the 7th round. Well, you never know, I guess. But honestly, if you look at Alabama's pro day back in March, he measured in at, he had a 34.5-inch vertical, ran a 4.39, 6 foot 197, so he's got pretty good size. He actually is being considered to be one of the best project corners in the entire class. So don't expect him to come in and start for the Chargers, but moving forward, he gives them an insane amount of depth that would deem to be very valuable.